Well, should we get started?
Yeah, we can get started.
I am ready to hit the button. So yeah, kind of a shame, since stuff has actually been happening recently, but we're gonna get into lawyering. We're gonna be getting into what we promised to do at the end of Sine Mora, but we ended up not doing. We're gonna be starting...
Some of it.
We did like a half hour at best.
Yeah, okay, but we got to a really good, like, breaking point anyway, so...
Oh yeah, did Phoenix Wright fall off a cliff because he was being an
Phoenix
idiot?
fell off a cliff. Phoenix fell off a cliff because he ran onto a burning bridge and it collapsed underneath him when he ran onto the burning bridge.
He was doing the dumbest possible thing he could have done.
Yeah, and where we left off, Larry called...
The cops.
He called Edgeworth.
Oh, yeah, Edgeworth.
He called Edgeworth to tell Edgeworth that, you know,
someone's charged for a crime.
Phoenix is in the hospital. I'm at the detention center. You need to come help, fucking the fake name for Hawthorne.
We're playing Edgeworth for the first time.
We're playing Edgeworth, and
things are gonna get all crazy because
Dahlia. Oh, Iris. That's the name of Dahlia. Hawthorne was. So
somehow
just like I said, Jeff,
somehow he got burned and fell into a ravine, and he's just kind of perfectly fine in the hospital.
I mean, so if you remember from the diagram of that where that bridge is, there is like, depending on where you fall, there's like a cliff underneath and not. Well, no. My point is, there's like, you either hit the water and you're dead because the current's gonna take you.
Water.
Or you
hit big rocks.
The rocks, which can really fuck you up. And I mean, he's not conscious to our knowledge. From what we understood, he's in a coma in the hospital. But yeah,
he's in a magic anime coma.
Dahlia Hawthorne was apparently the person arrested, and Larry Butts is at the detention center with her. And Dahlia Hawthorne's currently going by the name of Iris. She's a nun. We don't know what all this shit's about now.
She claims to never have seen us before.
Yeah, she claimed never have seen Phoenix Wright before. So there's all this shit going down, and it's not exactly what I thought it was gonna be when I was predicting where the case was going, but I did guess that the person we were gonna have to defend is Iris, and that there's the whole, like, we're gonna have to put the past behind us because this time she's innocent. So,
which doesn't really mean anything when we're playing as Edgeworth and not Phoenix.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the problem, is it was supposed to be we're playing as Phoenix. And maybe we will get back to playing as Phoenix. I have no idea what's gonna happen.
Phoenix comes in for the third act to punch everyone.
I did think of something the other night that I want to put into the prediction.
Sure.
So, if it wasn't Iris, who did it, right? So you have to ask yourself, if it wasn't
Yoda
Iris,
did it.
Who did it? Well, yeah, literally the only character that we have that was there is
either Yoda or Larry.
Is Bikini, and I have a prediction as to what the motive could be if it was Bikini. So remember that Larry like randomly throws out a line that Bikini's his mom?
Yes.
Like his birth mother. But at the moment, he like literally changed his last name to the victim's last name. You know. Totally
okay.
And is like talking about how, basically wants to be her son. So like, I wonder, like that's what I thought. I was like, I wonder if that's what happened, right? She stole her son, and she saw that her son admired this other person more than her, and so she killed the person her son was.
And so Yoda used the Force to use the statue to kill her.
Yeah. So anyway, let's load up the game.
Because how else do you murder someone with a statue? Dramatic things are already happening. Artist Larry is here, sweating his ass off. He has bows on his shirt. Edgeworth doesn't have the money for that. That's
Apparently
bullshit.
He does.
I spent all of my money to get here in front of you in an hour. I don't have time for your crying, Shove. Let me talk to the guy behind you. Wait, why did we see that then? Is it just because Phoenix was unconscious? Dodim!
Father, Miss Elise Doxnim or whatever, Deoxnim.
It's clearly Donim.
It means fake name, so.
It means double name.
She was found by Wright in the head nun. The suspect is the temple's younger nun.
Is Larry going to explain how Wright, like, almost died because he was an idiot?
Then later, while Wright was crossing the bridge, it broke and he fell into the river. Okay,
you know,
so
the bridge that was on fire.
Also says that he'll need at least 2 days.
I don't believe that for anything. I do not believe that you just get better from a 20-foot fall with 2 days of rest. That is complete horseshit.
In all fairness, Jeff, he fell into the water.
He clearly fell into an Assassin's Creed hay cart and survived. How did Iris get arrested for either of these? Well, Phoenix wasn't a crime, he was just an idiot.
However, I still don't understand what these 2 items are for. What are you talking about?
I've only been studying this case for 5 minutes and I have no idea.
The things Wright gave to me when I was leaving his room.
He gave me his magic amulet that I clearly don't believe in.
That's no nonsense about being able to see people's hearts with this.
Don't we have to unlock... Why did he give us his badge?
He couldn't be asking what I think he's asking, could he?
What?
I'm begging you, Iris trial starts tomorrow.
But why did he give us his badge? How is this gonna help anything?
You're the only one that can represent her. I mean, I guess he needs to have that badge to be a defense attorney, I guess, because he's not a defense attorney, he's a...
Oh, he also took his entire case file.
Yeah, so you know, Edgeworth is a prosecuting attorney, not a...
Is Edgeworth somehow going to, like, pretend to be Phoenix Wright using his badge? Because this seems very illegal.
I don't know. We'll find out here in a second.
We can't use Phoenix's badge to become a defense attorney.
So the other argument for what it is, it's a symbolic gesture, right? He doesn't actually need the badge to do anything, but by handing him the badge, Phoenix is telling him go defend the person that's...
Also, Edgeworth is a prosecutor. That's not the same skill set as a defense attorney. This is going to go very badly.
Right. That's what he's literally just saying right now. I'm a prosecutor, Larry.
Could you call literally anyone else?
What I'm saying? A prosecutor is a lawyer who...
That's not the problem. It's the fact that you don't have the skills to defend people, being a prosecutor.
Don't worry, I promise I won't tell, Larry says.
You can fake be Phoenix, right? You're not famous or anything. Wait, who had a paper... Who used the paper badge to fake their way into court?
The fake Phoenix from, like, a couple of cases ago.
The cardboard badge.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they made it look like a badge and it's supposed to be tiny. Like, that kinda makes sense. Like, you're holding a badge that has someone else's name on it. People are gonna notice. Have you been wearing that same dress for 3 days?
Presumably.
Why does this prison not, offer uniforms? It seems really weird. No, you have to wear your onboarding clothes for 2 weeks straight. If you don't do that, it's illegal. It's how we save money in prison. I'm surprised he didn't die on the impact, lady. He's probably lucky he's got this far. Oh, he did hit the water. 25 feet down.
Yeah. Okay, so first of all, Jeff, you'd be surprised how easily you can survive a fall. People have fallen from higher than 25 feet and have, like, hit the ground, like something more solid than water, and have lived to tell the tale with, like,
did they...
time to recover, and yes, they broke limbs.
Well, did they hit the ground, or did they hit a hill? Because that's very different.
No, they hit the ground. Like, people have fallen off their roof of buildings and stuff that are pretty high up and have survived the fall. Like, my point is, you can survive falls more than fiction would have you believe. It's kind of a gamble, because just because you can survive the fall doesn't mean you will, but, like, it is a thing that can happen. So I actually do believe that falling 20 feet into water, you would be hurt, but not like dead, right? Or not even like so terribly hurt that you'd be, like, hospitalized for months, right?
Well, Iris, was it a murder river or was it a lazy river? How believable are we making this bullshit?
I mean, so what I'm confused about is how he didn't get swept away by the current.
How about rocks?
But my point is,
were there no rocks in the river?
I mean, there's rocks in the river, but if you hit a spot that's deep enough, you're not gonna hit the rocks when you fall in the water.
There's a lot of questions about Phoenix's miraculous survival, being bruised, hitting water, and who fished him out of the river.
I mean, maybe we'll find out who fished him out of the river, but...
Iris, did you use the Force to do it?
No, Iris didn't do it. My guess is, like, Gumshoe. Like,
Iris, did you set the bridge on fire?
my guess is the current started pushing him, but he, like, grabbed onto a rock or something that he could, and he, like, held on until Larry or...
Larry's trying to kill Phoenix. He set the bridge on fire. I wouldn't suspect that's the first problem you should worry about, considering the situation. I mean, maybe internal injuries, maybe look for that.
First of all, going back to the falling 20 feet into water, I'm pretty sure there's diving things at, like, places that are higher than 20 feet off the ground.
Well,
like
yeah, that's... Well, yeah, but you prep dives. You don't just... unless you see it coming and can prep for it while you're falling, you're not gonna hit it perfectly.
Well, but my point is, like, literally, you're not gonna die from fucking up a high dive.
Well, if you fuck it up, then yeah, you're probably in a similar situation than what happened to Phoenix. But then again, you're falling into a current, you're not falling into a water brick. Where the water's not moving, which is kinda equally dangerous.
Well, I was gonna say, the danger of his fall more lies in the fact that he could have get swept by the current and then drown.
Yes, because if you hit a rock wrong, then you lose consciousness, and then you're probably guaranteed to drown. But you're not guaranteed to do that, so you can't really say that.
No, when it comes to falling into water and having your head hit a rock and going unconscious, typically you have to be diving into the water head first. If he fell from a bridge that gave way underneath him, he would have fallen feet first.
Well, I'm saying it's a possibility. I mean, his body's more likely to get bruised by the rocks than his head. But I mean, it depends on how strong the river is, mostly, and also how many rocks are in it.
And remember the previous case where, like, they couldn't find the body and everything that was going on with it? It was, like, raining heavily that day, so, like, more water to it.
That was more unbelievable than this.
Well, but, I mean, she survived, but we don't know how she survived, and she didn't, but they couldn't find the body, right? Phoenix here, whatever happened to him, he managed to not get so swept away that they couldn't figure out where he was. Like, they were able to fish him out, so...
Yeah, that's the other question, is, like, how long was he in the river before someone found him?
Well, so he didn't... there was literally someone there when he fell into the river. Larry was standing right next to the bridge.
But Larry was also on a cliff.
Right, but my point is, you know, it's not like no one was going to discover him for, like, 20 minutes. Like, Larry could have immediately ran down and tried, you know, doing whatever he can to help, or, like,
I want to imagine Larry trying to fish him out of the river. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a big fuck up. No, I've been playing way too much Persona because my brain wants to default to hit X to make it go onto auto.
Oh, like, you're in that fun situation of trying to play multiple games at the same time.
Yes, because Persona, you know, very text heavy game again. You can hit X, and as the dialogue, like, finishes, which the game is mostly voice acted in Persona, so as, like, the voice line finishes, you know, the text is there, it just moves to the next text box, so you don't have, like, for these longer conversations, you don't have to click the button every single time.
Which makes sense, like, in a voice acted game.
3 times since we started.
You clicked X all the time.
Playing this, I've clicked X. Which
Nope, click Y instead.
Our entire LP of this game. Our entire LP of this game, I haven't hit X. And I've hit it 3 times today now. You've
just been hitting the P key over and over again.
I mean, I think if I go into options, I think I can set an auto thing.
Eh, don't bother. That's not gonna help us. Like, this game isn't voice acted. We just end up missing tons of crap.
Yeah. I mean, there's still parts of Persona that's not.
Anyway, Edgeworth is gonna go Danganronpa on this bullshit. He's gonna shoot all of the lies with his lawyer gun. I have the power of debate in my firearm, and I'm going to use it to kill this crime.
Edgeworth has met her in the past.
What did Edgeworth do with her?
It was Edgeworth versus Maya in the first case.
Oh yeah, he was like 20 years old or some shit.
Literally the last chapter we did.
Yeah, that was the
we focused
flashback
Maya.
case.
The
Where
one
he had a
she
tiny
ended up
head.
being innocent.
And he had a lord's coat.
Yeah, the one where we couldn't definitively prove that she did it, so she ended up getting.
Well, it wasn't our fault. Our witness committed suicide on the stand. That was not our fault.
Oh yeah, he refused to testify against the girl.
He refused to testify because he died like an idiot. To be fair, he was probably the biggest moron in this whole trilogy. Why is she advertising the temple to us?
Because Edgeworth asked what the temple was when she said the name. She was like, I hardly leave, and then she said the name of the temple. And Edgeworth went, temple name, what is that? And then she explained the temple.
Here's a brochure. Why don't you spend $11,000 on the tour? It's because I have innate dragon powers. I'm gonna use them to broil that guard behind me. My cat ran to the door.
So, once again, she is very good at crocodile tears, so it's hard to say whether this is true.
Well,
or
yeah,
not.
but she's also admitting it, which isn't smart.
She's admitting that she has committed sins. She's not specifying what those sins are.
I mean, what crimes could a 20-year-old cause in the 20 years they were alive? The night of the crime, where were you standing? You saw Phoenix going to the bathroom. You know something. I had a 2-hour nap and then I ran directly into Phoenix. There wasn't a bell. No one rung that bell.
Yeah, that's what she was gonna go do when we bumped into her in the hallway.
We bumped into her so hard she forgot to do her job.
Oh, she went and did it.
But we didn't hear it. I don't believe her. I was frightened there was a ghost!
And the reason she was frightened is because Phoenix was putting 2 and 2 together, right? Because the last conversation Phoenix had with her at 10 o'clock, we got to the point where, like, a fuck ton of locks showed up, when it was like, you and I have met before.
Yeah,
like,
she has 5 locks. That's crazy.
I'm pretty sure she had 6.
I remember 5 locks.
Oh, we'll find out. I'm sure it'll come back up.
Okay, let's throw our magic amulet at her. It's no match for glass! Edgeworth's better at prepping his witnesses. Actually, he's so good at it, I'm surprised he kept fucking up in all of his other cases. Unless maybe he didn't write any notes down.
Well, this might be the locks, because he has... No,
Nope.
this is only 2.
She's got weak locks!
And
Oh my
I
god, I
just
can
like-
see the
I
I can
just
see the
like-
void!
What the fuck?
Oh no! I can see magic voids! How am I gonna play Pokemon Snap now with all this bullshit gone? Edgeworth's gonna have to figure out how magic works on the fly! He's not gonna fucking say, hey, where the hell did all that bullshit go? You just saw magical bullshit and they just, like, he just whisked it away like nothing happened. Did you just say magical shit happens at the temple all the time? Well, you have to believe in it because it's a magical crime.
Anyway, as much as he's like, I'm a man of science, I don't believe in magic.
I have magical bullshit.
I mean,
He also
he's
calls
gonna
it magical bullshit, but he's gonna use it anyway. What the fuck?
I mean, he's gonna test it, essentially. He's gonna be like, what? Okay, let's see if this does anything. And then, if he'd be like me in a situation where I came across magical bullshit, I would try to then, once I see that whatever the magical bullshit works.
What do you think you're just hallucinating? Why would you think the hallucination has, like, a logical mechanism to how it works?
Well, I
Because
wouldn't
that's...
think I'm hallucinating
Because that's a weird thing, because if this was happening in context, you would just be standing in front of a person, and then, like, the entire world around you would disappear, and then you'd just see floating locks.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't think that's weird? You wouldn't, like, would you think that would
I
even
would.
have any consistency to it?
I would, but I
You look at magical
What?
locks and be like, I can solve this!
once I did the thing and I solved the locks and, like, proven that it's a thing that I can interact with, I would then try to find a scientific explanation to how this works.
I think you would just go to a psychiatrist and be like, I need to get out of my job.
No, because I would go to a psychiatrist and say that if I couldn't get the locks to work.
I'm literally
Because-
blacking out at my job.
Because if you're able to get the locks to work, then you prove you're not crazy. Because it actually did something that affected the real world. Like, it's literally not all in your head anymore. It's physically impacting the world if you manage to unlock them. If you never unlock them, then you're like, what the fuck am I seeing? And yeah, you might go mad, not understanding what the fuck you're seeing.
I feel like you'd be trapped at step 0 for, like, ages just trying to figure out, like, trying to, like, solve the hallucination. It'd be, like, the most ridiculous puzzle box you'd ever look at. I'd imagine the first thing you try to do is, like, okay, how the fuck do I get out of this void? The entire world disappeared, and this person has stopped talking to me.
Clearly that's not...
Help!
Like, I don't think the void and the, like... I don't think that's what's happening. I think he sees the locks, but the world's still there. Because remember, he talks to the person while the locks are there. That person's not in the void, Jeff.
Well, I mean, they have to be right in front of us. How are they
they're
not seeing the void?
Because we're not actually in a void. Just because the screen goes black in a video game doesn't mean that the character is witnessing that.
Well, then why is it there?
From what we understand from the descriptions that come up, he sees the locks. He doesn't... It's not that there's a black void and suddenly, literally, there's nothing to existence. He just sees locks form around the person.
I would go with...
The game illustrates this and makes the locks stand out by putting black on the background.
Well, I would put a lot more weight on show rather than tell. The game's showing me one thing, and it's not telling me that it happened.
Well, I would agree with you if the game wasn't like a 2D game like the way it is, right? Like, so there's only so much you can do and only so many things, and I feel like, you know, for example...
Well, I would go back to my original question then of why even include the void at all if they didn't want it there as a thing. What if it wasn't? Well, you can put the locks on this. I don't see why you couldn't put the locks on this screen just as is. Why does the void even need to be included?
You want the player to focus on the locks. If you put the locks over a background that has shit in it, they'd be tempted. Like their eyes wander to shit next to the locks or shit behind the locks, right? Stuff like that will just, you know, if you want to emphasize the locks, you get rid of everything except the locks and the person, right? That's what they're trying to emphasize.
How do I get out of here? Runs away. I guess he's not gonna run away from this because he probably spent $20,000 just getting here in the first place. So he spent, like, all this money just starting this job. He's not gonna run away from it. He's... Okay, never mind. I thought Edgeworth was going to disrespect him all the time. I didn't think he actually respected Phoenix at all.
Ah, he's gay for Phoenix, remember?
I don't
like
know.
A weird... In the first game, they had, like, really weird flirtatiously lines to one another.
I don't remember this.
I brought it up at the time.
Well, you might have brought it up at the time, but that might have been 7 months ago.
I mean, yeah, but yeah. They had, like, a weird
We've had plenty of gay character talk in between
They would word things really weirdly to each other that, like, made it, like...
Yeah, they just made dick jokes to each other because they're old friends.
No, it's more like euphemism. Like, it wasn't euphemism, but, like, my point is the way they... No, it was more like flirtation. Like, it's not they're making a dick joke. Like, it's not...
This game is good enough for random dick jokes.
It's not innuendo, but like there was a weird way they would word stuff so that like there's a double meaning to it, but the one meaning's like the literal and the other meaning's like a flirtatious interpretation.
Which Phoenix is too stupid to see through.
And so it was just this really weird way that they delivered lines to each other that made me go, okay, yeah, these two. Oh, and how often they'd bring up how special one another they are to one another. It's like Larry's their best friend too. They don't talk about Larry that way.
Well, because Larry wasn't the one who sent him on this career path. Like apparently Edgeworth's existence and how he was when he was 7 pushed us to how we became now. And became a business owner.
You are correct.
And also a famous lawyer.
That is how Phoenix went down the path he did, is because of Edgeworth. But part of so the whole thing with that story in the first game is that everybody was against him in this classroom, right? Except for 2 people stood up for him, and that was Larry and Edgeworth. And yes, Edgeworth, did the lawyering part of it, but Larry was still there, and that's why the 3 of them are friends. The 3 of them became friends because of that. Then it's revealed in the first game, at like the very end of the first game, that Larry's the one that did whatever it is the thing Phoenix got accused of.
Also, Larry is just a fucking terrible asshole friend. All he's doing is making our life more difficult, and he's not funny enough to compensate for that. We have to throw him into a fucking trash can and never see him again. We probably should have done that during the Daredevil case, when he was fucking it up. Wright is in the hospital, currently having a coma. I think he'll recover whether or not this case goes anywhere. I don't know if Wright cares about Iris. I can't tell him that. I tried to kill him and throw him under the bus and then kill him a second time. Is Edgeworth falling for Iris, or is he just falling in for the job that he paid himself to go do?
No, they were talking about Phoenix. He's not
it's about honor. My lawyerly name is on the line. This is my last chance to get out of my terrible games. I wonder what Edgeworth would look like as an old man in the future when more Phoenix Wright happens. Somehow, the bridge was just burned, but the ropes and the actual bridge supports are perfectly fine.
Yeah, I'm surprised the rope's not destroyed, because, like...
Hey, it's our old, incompetent guy. Wait, has it been just a year? I thought he's had 2 games in between then.
Well, so he showed up at the end of the second game, remember? So it would have been a year, and then he showed up... So it would have been a year since the end of the last game.
Jesus, Edgeworth must be a workaholic.
Each game is 1 year apart. Well, he's been working outside the country, and, he's got whip ladies hanging out with him or something.
How do you keep forgetting Franziska's name?
I remembered her name, I just decided to call her Whip Lady.
I thought you'd do that just because you don't remember things.
I mean, sometimes I do, but...
How is Gumshoe ever going to cinch up his tie? He's never done that ever since we've ever met him. I'm trying to wonder what the hell happened to Gumshoe. Well, Gumshoe gets to take charge of all the investigations just because he's the only detective in the universe.
Like gum on your shoe, he's impossible to get rid of.
Oh, Edgeworth finally figured out the metaphor that fiction has been using for the last 90 years.
Wait, is that where the term gumshoe comes from for detectives?
I have no idea, but I know that gumshoe is an ancient fucking term.
Yeah, I was gonna say gumshoe's just a slang term for detective. I didn't know that it
meant, like... You know what, fuck it, I'll just Google this, because during my off weeks, I can just Google things.
I mean, I do it all the time when it's my off week.
Well, that's fair. I mean, if I'm doing it to you, turnabout's fair play, which... if I remember correctly, was a literal name of a case in this trilogy. It was, or maybe one of the games just everything was turnabout something.
Yeah, every game is turnabout something. or every chapter in one of the games was turnabout something. Yeah, look right here. So, Rise from the Ashes from the first game isn't, but here it's Farewell My Turnabout is the last chapter of the second game, and then the last, this game is Bridge to the Turnabout. So yeah, it's always Turnabout is in the name of most of the chapters. I was gonna say the last case here, the Rise from the Ashes one, is a special DLC episode, so it being, Rise from the Ashes doesn't really mean anything. When all the other chapters in that game did have Turnabout in its name.
Okay, I did not see this coming. Apparently, Gumshoe has a slang term according to Wikipedia, and not the one I saw on Quora, because I do not trust Quora to give me a straight answer.
Okay, what does Wikipedia say?
Gumshoe says that it came from the idea that because Gumshoe apparently originally was known as galoshes or rubber shoes, Gumshoes became private detectives because they wore galoshes to be sneaky.
Mm.
So apparently it comes from that and not the insulting term.
Not from what Edgeworth said, where you're constantly sticking to me.
Gumshoe,
okay,
the Hard-Boiled Detective in the 30s is a book.
Yeah,
it's a book-based game. Oh, and apparently there's a Gumshoe tabletop system.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. There's so many. There's so many.
There's the Gumshoe Awards.
Yeah, Gumshoe's is a term for detectives. It makes sense. There's a witness that saw the whole thing.
How could they have seen the whole thing if the crime took place?
Lady here on this freezing mountain.
How could they have seen the whole thing if the crime took place in 2 different locations?
The murder is the crime they're talking about, not necessarily the burning of the bridge.
I wouldn't think Edgeworth would be getting a little horny on the side. I need to go see this bikini woman. Wink.
Nah, he's into Phoenix.
Why the boards? What the fuck?
Keep other people from running off of it.
That was that good a Why do you need the 2 boards? Why just 2? Why are they also not nailed to each other? I have so many questions about who the hell set up this barricade. What the fuck were they thinking? Well, yeah, no one's over there, so we don't need to be over there, even though there's clearly clues.
So, someone was at the Inner Temple doing some training, and now they're stuck there.
Well, get the rescue helicopter up here then, you dumbass!
Well, okay, in order to use a rescue helicopter, well, depending on what you're doing with the helicopter, you're gonna need a place to land a lot of the time.
Well, you could just dangle something or people below the helicopter. That's at least what they do on TV.
So, my point is, Gumshoe's saying someone was at the Inner Temple, and that someone is stuck. He isn't saying the obvious who the someone is that we clearly know. Maya's fucking stuck in the temple. Okay, now he says.
Or Edgeworth will just immediately reveal it. Well, we don't need Maya. Let's just stay here and solve the crime.
Oh, so the air is really turbulent. That's why they can't do an aerial extraction. He literally just said, Jeff. So there you go.
Yep, it's plot spackle. It's the plot spackle-a-thon. Let's rub it on everything.
So they won't be able to reach it until tomorrow. So she's gonna be.
Also, there's a bomb on the mountain, and if we don't solve the crime in 2 days, we're all gonna die.
They're almost 100% sure the bridge burned because of lightning.
Did you at least write down where the strike happened? Because you could figure that out, but you need evidence. I thought Edgeworth knew everything about everybody. How was he surprised by this? Wouldn't you think it was weird if one of your colleagues was constantly wearing a mask and no one's seen his face before? Why would you hire that guy to do fucking anything? Did he, like, have, like, 100 references or something? No one knows why, because no one knows a damn thing about him. Even though he's a public prosecutor. Which, again, makes it even stranger that no one thinks anything of this. Edgeworth has figured out the crime of Godot in 3 minutes flat. I mean, it's possible. It might have just been a really fucked up day.
It has happened. I've witnessed lightning in the snow before.
If Gumshoe is such an idiot, how does he know how to do all this follow-up work? I don't think that's possible, to be honest. Unless they had, like, a camera.
So
okay. That's very unlikely, but I guess it's possible. That's
apparently there's a witness. Apparently there's a witness who saw
What do you think? What do you think this witness would be insanely suspicious? Like, thinking about a person who's like, they notice a lightning strike and then immediately know what time it is. Like, after that happened. It's like, who the fuck checks their watch after seeing lightning? I am incredibly suspicious of Bikini Lady. Who is apparently the only witness.
Well, first of all, they didn't state that it's the same witness. It might be the same witness, but they didn't state it was the same witness. So there might be a different witness that saw the lightning hit the bridge, and Bikini is the witness for the murder.
And that witness was Pearl! And that's why it's fucked up. She's constantly looking at watches because she's enamored with technology. Wait, he doesn't have a camera? He's a cop! And also a detective. You need to make evidence notes to be a detective. So Gumshoe can't read.
No, Edgeworth's the one that read it wrong, I thought.
Is it?
I thought Gumshoe correct him with the wrong name?
I thought Gumshoe called it Dusty Bridge.
Well...
Yep, he did.
Okay, so yeah, so Edgeworth said the right name, and Gumshoe tried to correct him with the wrong name.
Because for some reason, Gumshoe is trying to prove to Edgeworth that he's smart. It's like, I can get him on a tiny mistake.
So what Gumshoe just said, or at least what he's thinking, is that whoever made this wrote it wrong. It's supposed to read this.
I'm not sure why you'd think that, but...
It must be labeled Dusty someplace else.
What? Why would you say that? Okay. Is this why Gumshoe can't solve any crimes? Is because he keeps doing this shit? This has nothing to do with anything. You could have literally just said, Heavenly Hall is that way.
Anything that might be worth.
Show him the magazine. Maybe he's seen it before. Do you know where Yoda is? Do you know anything about the victim? Here's your weather report again. Edgeworth is saying this about the client that he had a meeting with 20 minutes ago.
Hold on, Jeff. This is kind of weird. We did a database search with her fingerprints and came up with nothing.
Did you actually get her fingerprints, or did she burn off her fingerprints?
I don't know. They apparently got her fingerprints and ran them, and it came back with nothing. But Dahlia Hawthorne should be in the goddamn system because of what she fucking did.
Unless she browbeat all of the cops and they didn't get her fingerprints somehow.
Apparently.
I would not say that Edgeworth is the hot guy in any sort. Edgeworth is your typical married to his work character. I mean, Edgeworth's good looking, but he has no sex drive whatsoever. He's basically a robot.
I could see him having a sex drive. It's just, he's super focused on his work.
Oh yeah, we don't know her real name because apparently Yoda never asked.
I mean, yeah, because everybody at the fucking temple is going by a pseudonym, basically.
It was a really convoluted plot to somehow get Maya to visit her. Which makes no fucking sense, but it worked. Why would Edgeworth need to ask Gumshoe about Larry? He knows everything about Larry. I'm sorry that you lost 2 quarters. You don't make any money in the... Gumshoe is a detective. How does he not have any money? He's not a beat cop. That makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Other crimes happen off-screen that Wright doesn't have anything to do with.
Well, it as Edgeworth just pointed out, just because if Phoenix is at all these scenes and stuff, and like investigating all this stuff, doesn't mean he's the murderer. Like that same thought process can also label Gumshoe the murderer as what.
Yeah, that's true.
That same thought process, because he's always investigating the case.
I also don't believe.
Anyway,
what the fuck? Why are we asking Gumshoe about himself?
I'm curious what it says.
Why does he have any dialogue? Hey Gumshoe, do you know who you are? Do you know anything about yourself? Are we just insulting him? Again, how do you not have money? Even being a shitty detective, you should be getting paid moderately well.
I don't know. Anyway, I presented him with everybody but Godot. So
I thought he already gave us info about Godot, which is nothing.
But now I can present him with Godot and maybe get a bit more.
I think my voice is still recovering from Undertale 2 days ago because I do not sound like myself.
Sound correct to me.
I'm gonna go get a drink to try and help it.
Yeah, you do that though. If your throat is sore, you can feel something there, then yeah, I'd recommend getting a drink.
I will say that you weren't 100% correct that I would lose my voice during that interview, but it definitely cut a bit of it out for me. That was fun.
I told you. I tried to tell you to stop doing the voice, and you kept at it.
Because I have to have integrity for our LP projects. Someone's gotta care. So if he's cold, does no one explain to him that jackets exist? Maybe take off that stupid hat and get a proper hat. I guess Edgeworth's not used to being a defense attorney, so that kind of makes sense. Also, how is Edgeworth going to say objection? He's gonna be bowled over by Godot because he doesn't have a good line. It's not about the performance. That's ridiculous. Well, not anymore. Now I'm a private eye. I don't know what Edgeworth's job is.
I assume you're still a prosecutor in his games.
Cause I don't think he'd be in the public service, considering how he got there.
I don't know. My brain says in Ace Attorney Investigations, if I had to take a guess, he's the prosecutor.
I don't know if he can be a private prosecutor. That doesn't sound like a thing.
No, I don't think he's a private prosecutor.
So if he's a prosecutor, then he can only be a public one.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it. Come here.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure in the Ace Attorney Investigations game, he's a prosecutor still.
Ace Attorney investigating. Get me to the right place. Why was Ace Attorney Investigations 2 never released? It's because it was shit! That's why. That's why it didn't get a fucking sequel.
It's got a sequel. There's 2 Investigations games.
What? Google's lying to me.
I mean, maybe only 1 came to America.
Oh, there was no plans to release it outside of Japan.
Yeah, so the second one never came overseas then, yeah.
So they did lie to me.
But there is a second one.
I love how Gumshoe is on the cover.
Yeah,
how would Gumshoe even be in this game if he's in a different city?
I was gonna say, I have no idea where they take place. They might take place in the city. I don't know. All I know is they're entirely different games.
I'll just click on the synopsis. Let's see. Oh, apparently this game takes place after this one. I thought it would take place before it.
I thought it'd take place in between.
But apparently it's after this and before Apollo Justice.
I mean, yeah, there's a big time jump by the time we get to Apollo Justice, so.
It's about a smuggling ring.
Yeah, so you're the prosecutor. If you're going after a smuggling ring, you're probably the prosecutor.
They don't identify what he was fucking doing. It looks like, never mind.
Well, if you read the plot synopsis, or if you read, like, the plot of even just the first chapter, it's gonna explain, you know, whether you're defending someone or whether you're...
Okay, so Franziska... somehow Manfred is also a supporting character. Franziska is a supporting character, and because for whatever reason every one of these stupid games needs a sidekick, his sidekick is someone named Kei. Who is a Yatagarasu.
A what?
It's some Japanese thing.
Okay, well, what is that Japanese thing?
I'm not gonna explain it. Go to your anime translating book.
Did you say Amaterasu with an A, or did you say something else?
No, Yatagarasu.
Why? I don't know what that is, because I know what Amaterasu is.
10 years prior to the game. Oh, it's a historical thing. That makes sense. I was like, how the fuck does this game have 10 years of history? I mean, to be fair, the beginning of this plot sounds really interesting.
Yeah, apparently the
The suspect called Macrel. That's so fucking stupid.
That's a trait of the game.
Macrel.
Shit in these games.
Edgeworth was a replacement prosecutor for someone who fucked up.
Yeah, see? He's a prosecutor.
So apparently these people know Edgeworth and just had him do a job.
Anyway, when we asked Larry where he was on the night of the murder, we got locks.
Actually, apparently people weren't shitting on this game. Like, the lowest score that this game got was a 3 out of 10. This thing was putting up 7.5s and 8s. That's not terrible.
Was the second one really bad then? I don't know. All I know is I was told they were bad.
Oh.
And it seems like that I've heard in multiple places they were bad. So.
Oh, this might be a cultural thing, because apparently when it was launched overseas, it launched like a rock. Jeez, it got savaged apparently.
So maybe the translation of it's really bad, and that's what caused it to be like a bad game.
Someone called the game too easy and streamlined.
Could be. I don't know.
Oh, they added walking controls for the first time, and apparently they didn't work properly. Which makes sense, considering that the rest of the fucking games were just text boxes.
Including the ones that came out after it. Pretty sure those don't have walking in them.
So Capcom was like, whoops, we fucked it up, let's get rid of this entirely. Let's stop trying. We fucked it up. Oh, they called it a bad soap opera. And they called it cheesy and charming. This sounds awesome. I want to get in on this shit now.
Well, they don't have a way for me to play it. It's not on PC.
That sounds like the sort of shit game that I'd want to see. So anyway, did Larry give us any useful information while I wasn't looking at him?
No, he just gave us Psylocke.
So he didn't want to tell us anything.
Here's Bikini.
Gumshoe was following us the whole time?
Yeah, Gumshoe was in the last place too, talking with Larry with us.
So what's up, Yoda? See, if you're a hot guy, you can get into the tour for free. Well, yeah, but she's like in her high 40s or 50s.
She's not in our thing yet. We can check her right in age once,
How the fuck would you be able to tell this woman's age?
I mean, they'll put it in here, is my point.
Maybe Miles is just guessing. Bikini. If his salary keeps getting cut, why does he keep doing this job?
I don't know, passion for the job.
I'm gonna cut your pay by 30%, and another 20%, and then 40%. And then I'll cut it down to $10 a day.
Okay, so now Bikini should be in here. Alright, Bikini's 48.
So I wasn't too far off.
Bikini's 48, Godot is question mark, Iris is 25.
Godot is somehow negative 20 years old.
Elise is question mark.
That's because she's 1,000 years
25.
old.
Larry's 25. Wait, that doesn't line up.
Well, it
How is
kinda
Larry
does.
25. They were in the same class. I guess maybe one of them.
Well,
was
yeah,
born
but
in,
you
like,
can very
later than-
easily do that a year apart.
Yeah, fair enough. As long as one of them's later in the year and one of them. I mean, you and I, for a good example. Your birthday's in October, so you
Yeah,
right now,
exactly.
you're 29, I'm 28.
Why is she giving us the
Iris is-
stink eye?
I mean, she's worried about Iris, so she's.
Maybe
this
she's
is
got
her
really-
serious- This is her serious face.
Maybe she's got really bad, like, resting bitch face.
No, this is her serious face. I didn't think of it as a bitch face. It was just a serious face.
Well, her resting face now looks
Last night
perfectly
we
fine.
had Yeah, well, that's not a serious face, Jeff. Like, this isn't her being serious. This is her...
Well, it's a resting face.
Yeah,
She's
it's a
got
resting
two
face,
resting
but-
faces.
But my point is, the one we were on earlier is her serious face.
If you don't remember the whole thing you did when you were Phoenix, here's a recap.
Anyway, after dinner, the two of us. Well, no, this is actually stuff we didn't see, because this is Maya going to do her training, which we didn't see. So.
And then she
We-
burnt
we-
down the
we
bridge
know
with her
this
psychic
happened.
powers.
We know this happened, but.
She suddenly transformed and gained huge boobs, and also gained another 9 inches in height, and I thought it was really weird.
So at 9, they left to go to training. Training lasts all night long. It's pretty exhausting.
Well, yeah, I'd
Channeling
say pulling an
Dojo's
all-nighter
head.
is really hard.
Channeling Dojo's head nun must be in attendance at all times to keep watch. Oh, you're right. It does sound exhausting. Sometime around 11, you witnessed the incident in the courtyard. But your duty was in the inner temple. Why did you come back here?
I needed to set the bridge on
The way you're
fire.
staring at me, I'm starting to get goosebumps. Oh, why'd she choose to come back here? She's supposed to be in the temple watching Maya the whole time.
Edgeworth is cringing his balls off. Yeah, she witnessed a murder, or at least the aftermath of the murder. What the fuck? That did not happen.
She claims to have witnessed this.
How the fuck did you witness this
I
at
saw-
all?
I saw two people, one in the line on the ground, and the other was stabbing her from the back with a
You
sword.
you really expect me to believe that somehow this twiggy ass girl pushed an entire sword with multiple swords in it through a person?
If it's sharp enough.
That's not the sword part. It's the fact that you would have to push the sword through all of that bullshit that a person has. And
Yeah,
also you would need to push the other spikes through it.
If the sword is sharp enough, it aids you in that. Like, it becomes easier to push through, is my point.
There's a lot of physical effort in that sort of murder, which is why murdering people is kinda hard. What?
Gumshoe's
he's explaining why she's freaking out.
Yeah, Gumshoe's trying to explain, and he's trying to emphasize with Bikini and explain her perspective.
So we're gonna have to figure out what actually killed her, because clearly that did not happen.
Right.
Because again, like, Iris weighs like 110 pounds. I don't even know if Iris could pick up that sword. Which is another thing, like, weapons like that are kind of heavy.
Yeah, that's true. The weapons. I still want to know why return.
I don't know if she's gonna give us an answer.
If my guess is if there is a Psylocke for her, it's gonna be this one.
Well, she is almost 50 years old, and she's also 4'5".
I mean, it looks strong, but the truth is, I've got a bad lower back.
I can't walk very fast.
Especially bad in the winter, so I had so bad that I can't even lift a bucket.
So clearly Bikini is not the murderer.
Remember how cold it was last night?
We have to suspect that she's the murderer because there's only 2 people who could have done this beyond the main characters.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed too.
There's no red herrings in this case.
Like, unless Larry did it somehow, or at the end of the accident.
I don't think Edgeworth is going to suspect Larry because, 1, he knows him from a long time ago, and 2, I'm thinking that Edgeworth considers Larry a complete idiot.
I mean, I don't think it's Edgeworth. I don't think it's Larry either.
So it's either you or Iris, and Iris has all the baggage behind her, even though apparently the police don't have any record of her, which is completely ridiculous.
Well, I think it's the other way around, Jeff. I think they do have record of Dahlia Hawthorne, but somehow Iris's fingerprints don't pull up Dahlia Hawthorne's stuff.
Maybe she inserted someone else's fingerprints into the report. Somehow. Considering that she's a terrible murder planner, I find it very hard to believe that she somehow scammed the police record. So what the fuck actually happened? She distracted all of the cops with a bunch of sandwiches and was able to infringe the reports, and now she's scot-free.
Wow, that sucks. Maya had to sit on a block of solid ice and chant something 30,000 times.
Well, she kinda has to be because the bridge is out, Edgeworth. Because I can phone the inner temple with my thoughts. Maya has now developed telepathy. I can directly communicate it with right her now. Oh yeah, where the hell did Pearl disappear to?
Yeah, where is Pearl?
Pearl is the best character. We need to know where she is. But she also fell off the bridge.
No, Pearl is missing now. So Pearl's also apparently potentially a key witness.
Technically, everyone who was here is a key witness if they saw anything. Shut up, Gumshoe. Well, what are we gonna do now? There's only 3 locations we can go to.
Right, we start presenting shit right now until we get.
Do you know who Godot is? Okay, so she knows who Maya is. Oh, shut up, Edgeworth. Don't throw your terrible references at me.
I wonder what that reference was in Japanese, because I highly doubt it was the Star Wars reference in Japanese.
I don't know. Maybe it was a Twin Peaks reference.
No, my brain said it would have been if it was a Twin Peaks reference, they would have kept it, because American people know Twin Peaks. It would have been something that would have been more for Japanese audiences. But, like, my brain says there's a couple of things that are, like, famous enough that, like, maybe they could have done something with. Because there's certain anime movies and stuff that are really famous that I feel like you might be able to do something with.
The only anime movie that's famous is Akira. That's the only movie.
Yeah, I guess.
But I thought that she ran into Phoenix after Lights Out.
No, she was on her way to do that, I'm pretty sure.
And now she has Cyclops too. Well, yeah, Edgeworth, don't you ever encounter a lying... Well, I guess you never do, considering you've never defended people before.
The point is someone's lying. The point there is that someone's lying.
It's because of that dangerous statue. I shouldn't have kept the sword statue here. Wow, Bikini's being a real meanie.
Wow.
Well, because you're just kinda here.
So, as Edward has said, her anger seems manufactured.
Well, at least he's good at reading people.
What's your opinion on Phoenix?
And his weird eyebrows. Well, he didn't jump. I mean, he kinda did. But Gumshoe's terrible at everything. Just do it yourself.
We didn't get any new topics from that.
Let's go to the murder scene. Away!
Yeah, the problem is like, all this shit that's in here, I don't...
Is this you in this picture? Everyone needs to see Iris. And not, you know, Doneem.
Okay, so showing the photo does the same thing as...
Now you hurt Gumshoe's feelings even more.
Showing the photo, like showing the portrait of, or the photo release, was the same thing as showing the
The weather report? What the fuck are you talking about?
Now, my guess is this is the dialogue for when I try to show her something that she has nothing to say on.
That pun was pretty bad. I found this poster that I stole from here through Phoenix. But I got her autograph. It's right here. Huh. Well, that's weird.
She's a branch family, which means it means she's like a third cousin or something. Like, there's a bunch of separation there.
She's Hinata from the future. She got really ugly. Well, how many evil spirits could be on this mountain? It'll just clash with my suit. Put it on Gumshoe instead. Wait, we're wearing it actually? For what? Edgeworth, you never did anything wrong. I mean, you fucked up a couple of your cases. That's kind of it. Should we get to work on, like, saving Maya and Pearl? They might be freezing to death at this point. Well, where could you go here? He just keeps calling them psycho locks. Gumshoe, give us some more information. We need to go to the bridge to go to the detention center? Oh yeah, wasn't Edgeworth arrested at one point? For the boat crime?
Yeah, for what is technically normally the last case of the first case.
How have you never been here before? Edgeworth, don't give him a reason to commit crimes. He thought of how he could murder you, Edgeworth. For maximum sentence. And then he's gonna fuck it up and get the death penalty. Let's use the Magatama on Gumshoe. Give us your secrets. Why can you never do your tie correctly? Does Gumshoe have nothing that can help us?
That's what I'm trying to figure out what I need to do.
Hey, do you remember this weather report you gave to us an hour ago? We can ask about the other 3 people we just put into our case log.
Yeah.
Should you guys try to get across the cliff to confirm this shit? Do you not have an alternative or a plan, or even gonna take this to the main base of cops or something? You guys are leaving 2 people possibly dying. And I know Maya's been terrible this whole game, but still, you can't just deliberately kill a person by not rescuing them. Yeah, let's shimmy across. That'll work. No, she's currently freezing to death. It's very sad and tragic. That's how this game's gonna end. Maya's just gonna be dead. A frozen corpse in a closet. And now we'll transition to the court case. Well, that didn't help us at all. Can we look at the bush? Or the snowmobile? Or this tiny, tiny door? No, it doesn't. that code is shitty. But to be fair, my shitty code is shittier than his code. Where are you going with this, Gumshoe? Also, why are you angry about this? What the fuck is Gumshoe trying to do?
Wants to simplify language.
Or, you know, skis. That's what a snowmobile is, Gumshoe, you fucking idiot.
I mean, also at the end of the day, cars can travel on snow.
Very badly. Gumshoe's not gonna have the time to take 1,000 test drives of his terrible snow car. Well, we already talked everything out of her, and we didn't get any more information. And our clients... Wait, what's that piece of paper on the floor?
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. I was like, there's gotta be something we need to do here.
What the fuck is an Enza cushion?
The cushion... So look around the
tiny rope circles?
Yeah, so those cushions are Enza cushions. So the pile, that's a pile of them over there.
It's an invoice for chili!
Vanilla envelope.
Was they afraid of envelopes?
Oh, they just say what it is.
How about you open it, you dumbass?
Okay, it's a letter addressed to Iris.
But Iris doesn't know anybody.
Tonight at 10 at the Heavenly Hall. Unless you want your secret to be exposed.
Well, that would explain why she was traveling about and also not doing her job.
Sounds like a blackmail letter.
Does it have a date on it? Is it like 10 o'clock tomorrow? 3 days ago? The day of the crime? So someone is trying to set her up for something. That's the lesser Magatama? Oh, goddamn it, we can't go there. Really?
I don't know. Maybe we saw it in the first game.
Yeah, just take the giant Magatama off the building and we'll transport it to Tokyo. That makes sense. Don't blow out religious candles, that'll probably make her mad.
I was gonna say, at the end of the day, Edgeworth is being sarcastic.
I don't think Gumshoe understands that.
Maybe not.
Let's stare at the mirror. Maybe that'll give us an insight. Okay, so we can't stare at the mirror.
The mirror is part of the same thing as the candle thing. I just...
Is anything on the... Is anything written on the walls a clue? Is this...
No, I think what we can do now is we can start presenting the blackmail note to people.
Is this bowl of sand have, like, shrimp in it? But she clearly does, considering you don't know anything about her before she showed up. Okay, so how do we get to the hall part? You don't have any insight on this note, really? Salutation here. What? Who the fuck would write salutation in a blackmail note? Who's the most fancy person we've talked to?
Wait, what the fuck do we need? What haven't I examined?
Apparently the rock. And also the mountain. How is that gonna help us? Also, Gumshoe can't see things. I mean, yeah, that's why you get a transport device that can go across cliffs. That's kinda how it works. Well, it's the badge that I stole from Phoenix. Did Gumshoe not notice that our name isn't on this badge? Or think it's weird that we have a defense attorney's badge at all? Well, what else can we fucking do, game? Do we have any talk options with Gumshoe that we haven't used? Also, where the fuck did Larry go?
I mean, they already made a point to mention that Larry moved someplace. That was a while ago now.
Larry's hiding in a closet. He's gonna scare us as a joke. Wait, are we throwing the Magatama at her?
No, I was throwing the badge at her. Because I already did this. I did all this stuff at her.
Is there someone with a Magatama that we can uncycle lock now?
I'm trying to think who I... No, because the only people we can interact with right now are Gumshoe and Bikini, and neither of them have Psylocke.
Did you throw the Magatama at Gumshoe? Maybe he's hiding something. I thought we asked her about Pearl.
I know.
I can't remember a time when fucking Edgeworth was ever an optimist. It's a warmed cat bot? What?
Litter box.
So it's a... Oh, it's a hibachi. So it is actually, it's actually a container of sand full of hot rocks.
Yeah, and then the sand heats the room. Sand can stay hot for a while.
Well, that didn't help. The walls, the ceiling, the floor, on Bikini. Can we use the Magatama on the wall? Would that defeat the ward? And then we can explore the rest of this place. Would this game have a really stupid adventure puzzle? Does she know anything about Godot?
Oh.
Does Gumshoe know about Godot? How does he not have an opinion on the blackmail note?
We already read this. I'm trying to think if there's like someone I didn't present to someone that we can present stuff to.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard when we only have 2 people. What, he was gonna eat it? Wait, he did eat it?
No, he bit it. He didn't eat it.
Well, he's lost 95% of his salary. I mean, I'm surprised he's not dead at this point. I'm surprised he's not alive enough to do this job. I'm never surprised at the things that you can steal. Wouldn't you be able to tell that it clearly has magic powers? She's been up here for 20 years. Well, that didn't help. Hey, do you see this badge that I stole?
It's
pretty cool.
I did that. Pretty sure I did that.
How about this map?
I did that.
How about this weather report of the thing that you already saw? Did we gain any more talk options with her, the only other character that we can talk to?
Oh, already looks.
Well, we're done then. We have no other leads. We're gonna have to go home and cry. Do we have to ask about someone twice or something? At this point, you might have to pop open a fucking walkthrough. Don't you know your own son?
He said something. He said something about the fact that of him being his son, but I don't know. Maybe we misread that. But yeah, we'll just.
No, Larry is constantly drawing naked women. Well, that didn't help at all. Well, we've ran into dead man walking syndrome. We're gonna have to give up and jump off the cliff. The tiny door holds no secrets. And unfortunately, the snowmobile cannot take us to another location. Let's jump off the cliff. We tried everything we can do, and we came up empty. The person who did the murder is gonna get away with it.
Alright, I'm gonna pull up a guide. Did we not? Did we not present that, sir? I thought we presented that, sir, but maybe we didn't.
Well, I don't think we have this item yet.
Yeah, we did this.
It was the lie that we couldn't confound.
What the? But this wasn't always there, was it?
No, the game's trying to confuse you with its meandering nonsense. You'll never be able to figure out the truth because you haven't displayed the correct information in the right order. Therefore, we're gonna block you from going to this obvious location, which is the murder scene. It's the fucking murder scene! Why would you think to go here first? Come on. I think the other thing that calls Iris, well, Bikini's testimony in question is the fact that there's blood everywhere. And if she was just stabbed with the sword, there'd probably just be blood under her, and not everywhere. Because I don't think she was stabbed multiple times in that story. Anyway, Gumshoe, get out of the way so we can see the damn murder scene. Why are we talking to him? Let's see the actual important thing.
Because he has a bunch of stuff to say.
He has 3 things to say. That's not a whole bunch. Also, 50% of it's useless. Yeah, we can see that. If you would get out of the fucking way! So someone really beat her up. So she fell 20 feet, and she didn't survive that. So what, someone push her off of a building and then they push the statue on top of her?
Could be.
Do we know that this wasn't just an elaborate accident? You didn't give us to this before? This might have come in real useful, Gumshoe, when we were interrogating the only other person here.
Except she didn't. This did not happen according to Iris.
Well, according to our obviously lying witness. Someone really, really wanted to kill Maya Fey. Also, the orb in her staff is missing.
True. It's probably something we can interact with in a second.
Why would you need to steal that? Was it like made out of... Oh, was it the jewel? That from the other case?
Could be. We'll find out.
That doesn't make any sense, but could it be the case?
It is. I don't think it is, because we did see a picture of that jewel, Jeff, and it was red, and the jewel in her staff is purple.
But it's been 5 years. Jewels can change color, right?
Oh.
We can't compare because we never had the case file to begin with, so that makes sense. He didn't just catch a cold! He's in a coma because he fell off a bridge! Why does everyone say he has a cold? But I have to worry about you constantly, Gumshoe. What? Is he a different judge than every other judge we've ever come across?
No, he's gonna recognize Miles, and Miles is not supposed to be a defense attorney, apparently. I don't know.
Why are we banned for being a defense attorney? Do we not have the credentials to be that?
I guess, I don't know.
What's Gumshoe talking about?
Edgeworth is claiming another they're gonna have another judge tomorrow instead of a normal judge.
I'm surprised he was able to swing that, but somehow he did.
It's a judge we've only met once. There's a good chance he won't remember me at all. So,
he won't be able to see past the fact that I'm not wearing my Lord's coat.
It's the Canadian judge from the last chapter.
They're really getting a lot of mileage out of the fact they only drew 2 judges for this game.
Yeah, I mean, all the other games they only drew 1 judge.
Yeah, it is really weird that they don't have more important characters. But I guess they only needed the 1. Wait. You arranged the prosecutor that you're going up against? How the fuck did you manage that? I snuck into the prosecutor's office and deleted all the scheduling paperwork, so they had to redo it. I did that enough times before I got the prosecutor I wanted. Again, plot fucking spackle. It's also 100 feet into the sky, so you have to take an airship to get to it. It's also surrounded by a magic barrier that only allows 1 person of your party to make it in. Actually, no, this blood pattern is very consistent with someone using this sword to stab them and not the statue falling on them. It's also all over the ground. Well, that doesn't help our case. My job used to be a lot easier. I just yelled objection at everybody and won all my cases. Is Edgeworth not going to think that maybe the statue fell on them? Because it seems like a pretty obvious conclusion. Consistent with the 20-foot fall thing that we just learned about. She was also a wizard. Well, that's because magic doesn't fucking exist, Gumshoe. Is he gonna tell us about the orb missing? Well, what?
His lifelong dream of wanting to be a wizard.
Well, how is that gonna help us? It's made from oak. Or, I'm trying to remember a fancy wood. It's made of maple. What's this circle thing in the ground?
I assume some sort of
Why would you?
tile or something.
That's obvious, Edgeworth. What the fuck?
I can't examine the.
You can't examine the obviously, like, suspicious thing?
The circle thing on the ground I can't examine.
Gumshoe believes in the power of Halloween. Oh my god, Gumshoe, get a better fucking job! Jesus. Well, what does that have to do with the ladder? You did not jump over that wall. I have never heard of the word paucity. What does that mean? Okay. Oh, he's explaining that the building's on stilts. Or at least part of the building is. No, that'd be really annoying, Gumshoe. What the fuck are you talking about? Also, here are all the skis that we needed because we're on the top of a mountain. Gumshoe's hard-boiled. That's hilarious. Gumshoe, just because you're a detective doesn't mean you're hard-boiled. You're too much of a fucking clown for that to be the case.
Alright. We got a handful of stuff, so there's that.
Maybe we should go back to Bikini and be like, we found some stuff. Tell us about it. This stuff clearly proves that you did the crime. Oh yeah, I was gonna look up the word paucity. Well, that would explain why I've never heard of this word before.
Why, what's it mean?
It's a really unnecessary synonym. No, you haven't. I've discovered 7 things. I'm gonna be able to defeat your psycho-locks. She can't handle being in jail. That's another thing that they could have done. They could have just, like, opposited the backgrounds instead of putting her in a void, and that might have worked. I mean, it would still wouldn't really...
Whatever the Game Boy Advance could do.
I think it would still be weird and be like, well, why are you seeing the world in opposite vision? I'm holding up my Magatama and looking through it. Why is Edgeworth being flowery now? I will defeat my client using metaphors. That's why I'm gonna shoot them with my Danganronpa gun. I have loaded all of my truth bullets, and now I will use them on you, my client. Oh yeah, we found the blackmail note, so throw it in her face. This one's the gimme. This wizard staff! You are afraid of wizards! But because you're being very suspicious. She also has the same, like, windy animation that lady had. Miss Bitchface.
Dahlia Hawthorne.
Why are you constantly crying? 30% of the time that we've talked to you, you've been crying. Are we like a really bad lawyer? Not even Daredevil guy cried this much. Phoenix Wright was there, and he changes everything. Isn't it? Oh yeah, Phoenix. He can't know that I've committed 8 murders. That you're actually a very terrible mass murderer. Maybe her one weakness is the fact that, like, Dahlia here is very bad at lying. What's this music? It's the very somber interrogation music. Now we're all very sad. Maybe it's gonna twist around and suddenly get, like, really creepy. And then it'll turn out that she was a poltergeist the whole time. Now it just got slower.
Okay, so there's where Heavenly Hall is.
Wait, we didn't have a map of this before?
Well, it's some abandoned old shack, so yeah, it doesn't really matter to be on the map until now.
I figured it's still a POI. You probably should write it down that it still exists on a map. This soundtrack is like 2 steps away from like the creepy castle from Donkey Kong 64. It's like just like one other thing and it's gonna get really creepy in here. It feels like Dahlia here is gonna be like a really big important character with like some sort of like really, really deep, dark, secret twist. Why would they give her such a really pling-plongy fucking theme? But that doesn't mean I tried to kill him. All you need to do is dye your hair slightly a different color and you'll be able to confuse him instantly. Phoenix is actually really stupid. Is Miles not even gonna think that's, like, really impossible? Maybe Dahlia and Iris are somehow in the same place at the same time?
I mean, remember I threw out that concept that Dahlia is a different person from Iris? Like my crazy story that I threw out to you was that the girl who fell off the bridge was Iris, but Dahlia, who did everything else, was an opportunist that like that's my thought. But at the end of the day, I think it makes the most sense if it's just
she's very clearly an opportunist, so it would line up.
But in my mind, it makes more sense that they're just the same person.
Whatever it's gonna be is gonna be very simple once it's all boiled down. Anyway, why are we staring at Gumshoe?
Because I'm tired and I'm tired to fall asleep.
We've only been doing this for an hour and a half.
Oh, Heavenly Hall's been where Larry's been living.
He also decorated it in internationalisms.
Apparently.
For an abandoned shack, it's a lot nicer than I'd think it would be.
True.
What is that symbol on the bottom of the vase? Well, that's because you're a terrible, awful boyfriend and also a bad person. Why do you want to go to jail? Someone who's somehow more down on his luck than me, Larry Butts, guy living in a shack. Maybe Larry was the one who pushed Phoenix off the bridge. Oh, they brought back Edgeworth's theme. This isn't gonna help us get information.
This isn't Edgeworth's theme. This is when you do like the objection. I got you. That's when that plays. Plays in literally every court case.
But you didn't do that.
Oh, Gumshoe yelled objection, and then they started playing
it. Now let's smooth things down. Let's just walk away. Hey Larry, we want to ask you a question. Well, bye. His love of Iris? I thought he loved Larice.
I mean, he loves her as a he loves Iris as romantically. He loves the other one as a mother.
Could you put that brush out of my face, please? It's getting really annoying, Larry. Even Larry doesn't care about how religious this whole place is. Shouldn't we walk up the path, considering it goes under the bridge?
Hold on.
There might be a clue.
I assume that might be the path we took down here, but I'll click on it in a second. What country's flag is this?
It kind of looks like a miscolor of Ireland's flag.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm not sure what that is.
It's Korea.
Yep. And that's Sweden?
This was Switzerland. Yeah, this might be Sweden.
Actually, it might be Norway.
And America.
Well, we got the Russian flag in there.
Slightly miscolored French flag. This blue's not quite right.
Yeah, a little bit.
Germany,
except they got Germany
Canada.
perfect.
Yeah, Germany, Canada. This one's Russia, right?
Yep.
England again. Which is where I think it's lazy. I'm like, come on.
Italia.
Don't be doubling up on places. You could put some new ones on there. Like this. Why is there an extra? There's an extra UK. There's an extra Japan, and there's extra American, and then there's a slightly cut off extra Switzerland. But here's Mexico. No, that's not Mexico. This is
that's Italy. What the hell are you talking about?
I'm tired, Jeff. I'm literally falling asleep in my chair. Like
I guess I'm gonna have to parsec over there and take control.
Everyone might.
We're Capcom and we don't believe in multiculturalism. You're getting 15 countries and that's it. There's only 15 countries that exist.
They didn't even pick any of the cool flags.
You don't get a cool flag. You get a bunch of big countries.
They didn't do the fun thing where they fuck with people by having like both the Ivory Coast and Ireland's flag on the map.
Because the Ivory Coast stole their flag.
No, the Ivory Coast flag is the like same three colors in the same order but reversed. So the one to the left is the one that's to the right on the other flag. So essentially, if you fly a Ivory Coast flag backwards, you end up flying Ireland's flag, and if you fly Ireland's flag backwards, you end up flying the Ivory Coast flag.
And then the Irish are gonna come over and beat you up. So they're just origamiing at each other, apparently. I hate my past! Go away! Fuck you, Larry! How dare you know me when I was 6?
Alright, let's present some of the new stuff to him.
Hey, have you seen this bloody sword? Hey, do you know how to read? This 2-sentence autopsy report? So, we made him look at a bloody sword, and he fucking had nothing to say about it.
He had nothing important to add to it, no. But he's gonna point out that the gem's missing.
Oh, is it the really obvious thing that's missing?
Okay, so the only thing new to say is...
Maybe show him the picture of Elise's picture.
Actually, let's talk to him with the missing child.
She's missing! Can you help us? Somehow Pearl looks like another woman he knows that was 17 years older than her. Which I do not believe. How does he know a woman that looks like a child?
Oh, the other woman's name was Pearl. She doesn't look like her. But her name is Pearl. So both Pearl, this Pearl, and the other one. Anyway, what he's got to say about Maya?
Clearly I'm gonna have to keep you awake by asking really dumb questions. Constantly. Why didn't you help him? You were there! You could have fucking at least yelled at him or something that the bridge was on fire. Or at least tackle him. And then you both could have fallen down and maybe you would have died.
Talk to him.
And then we wouldn't have a Larry anymore. Well, why'd you decorate it all? How'd you do all this in a day?
I mean, in order to string up the flags and the little paper mache chains, it doesn't take very long. The only thing that would take him a hot second would be painting the murals. And even if he has a whole day to himself, it's not too difficult.
We gotta get to the trial quick, and that'll reawaken your brain. It's actually a very terrible building. This is actually Gumshoe's apartment. He lives here, on the mountain. He gets to live here for free, but he has to walk 3 days to work. Why did we take this client just because Larry said so? Also, so why is Larry saying this?
Apparently Butts is gonna marry Iris.
He wants to marry everything.
That'd be some crazy ass twist. I mean, this is like the last game before a big time skip. Maybe Larry does end up marrying Iris. That'd be fucking nuts, though.
Well, this game's gonna have to conclude on something. Maybe it'll conclude on a big stupid joke. Like Gumshoe actually being good at his job for once. Maybe Gumshoe getting his salary back. Maybe Gumshoe quitting this really shitty job. And Edgeworth continuing to be the king of lawyers. What did she do that... Well, I mean, she was gonna meet her blackmailer, which is kind of dangerous. But she didn't even do that. So what the hell is he talking about?
He's not specifying anything dangerous, like a specific dangerous thing she did. He's just talking in general. He would never want her to do something dangerous. We already read this.
Also, we are apparently a ladies' man.
This is the locks from earlier. We did this.
Well, he only has 3, so we can probably beat this one. So come on, slap yourself away. We got a fucking adventure game to solve. How can we defeat Larry's mind? Take that! Ha ha! Miles Edgeworth, Esquire. Ho ho ho. You saw Phoenix dying. What do you see, like a dragon or a meteor shower?
At 10 o'clock. Oh, he's the one that saw the lightning hit the bridge.
Oh, he's the witness?
Yeah, I told you that it might not be the same witness. They didn't specify that the person who saw the lightning was Bikini. They just said we have a witness that saw the lightning.
So Larry got struck by lightning. So he saw the bridge get caught on fire and didn't warn Phoenix not to get on the bridge.
The bridge was very clearly on fire when Phoenix ran across it. Both Larry, and also Larry did try to tell him not to do it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but Larry was beating around the bush or something, and he didn't tell him in time before he did the stupid thing. That means that this whole mess is actually Larry's fault. Well, you would be at the bridge. An empty jelly jar. In the jelly jar. Because you're down here?
Yeah, you'd be here.
I mean, if you live here... Or
I mean,
that...
Yeah, he has a room at the temple, apparently.
Someone drew these trees on the map, but they didn't draw the abandoned shack for some reason. This map is kind of bullshit. I mean, that's also a static piece of paper. Do we know that that's actually representative of how it looks like right now?
I mean, yeah, we literally have been updated, and we added the Heaven Shack. Not that, like, literally, if, you know, when we were talking to what's-her-face.
Well, we know that you're lying about your witness statement. So where was Larry? Was he going to find Maya? Well, it shouldn't have been Heavenly Hall, considering it's the closest thing there.
Yeah, I mean, you literally...
It's also the only place you could see this.
Yeah.
Literally, we were just talking about this 5 minutes ago, you idiot. You love being here because you're being an artiste and also very bad at it. He could have been inside the shack. You don't need it to be dark to know that it doesn't have electricity. Wouldn't he have been drawing the things on the shack?
Could have been. So you might call...
A faux decor, so he was decorating. Was it Bikini?
My guess is Iris? Probably? I don't know.
But if Iris was gonna meet her blackmailer in the main hall, why would she come out here?
I mean, where did it say she was supposed to meet her?
Oh,
No,
at
she's supposed
Heavenly
to meet her at
Hall.
Heavenly Hall.
So that's the answer.
So that means he's the blackmailer, I guess.
That's a really a weird thing for Larry to do.
Yeah, I know. Or that, or Larry. Larry also got tricked into being here.
Well, yeah, you're outside in the winter. Didn't we already present the letter to him? Or...
No, we didn't. The question was, who was he waiting for here? So I had to show Iris. I didn't send.
And because
the letters.
Because
So
of
now
this
it's the
dumb
letter.
game's rules, we can't just jump to the letter.
Yeah, because the question wasn't about the letter. It was, who was he waiting for here? Iris. And then he's
Maybe
like, well,
she
you
dropped it.
You have evidence to support that? Yes, we do. We have the note to Iris.
We have this poster of Misty Faye. Well, you left it at the main hall, you big dingus. Also, how do you know that she has a deep, dark secret? Were you just bluffing?
So now Edgeworth is pointing out the thing you pointed out earlier. That salutation here is a really fucking weird way to write. Oh, he copied the format of the letter from a book on how to write, and the example in the book said salutation
Oh my
here.
god.
Here's where you write your salutation.
Oh my god, Larry.
That's funny.
I'm so sorry that I was a massive idiot. God, that's like tracing anime off of a book.
Right. So I find it crazy that he was the blackmailer. I don't know what the fuck that's about.
Yeah, what the fuck were you doing? And also, how did you know? And now Gumshoe is going to pile drive you into the snow. Well, it's a threat, stupid. Like, what the hell? In the letter that we just showed you.
Hold on, I'm gonna try to read the letter from, like, being stupid like Larry and see if there's something, like a weird misinterpretation that Larry
No,
could
there's
have
no
when he read it.
interpretation
There's
here.
something I must talk to you about. I'll be waiting for you tonight at 10 at Heavenly Hall. Make sure you come unless you want your secret to be exposed. So, I don't know what this last bit's about, but, like, the top half is gonna be him confessing his love. Like, there's something I want to talk to you about. I'll be waiting here.
Maybe he's assuming that she feels the same way?
Make sure you come unless you want your secret to be. So I don't know what the secret is, but we're about to find out. So whatever he means with secret isn't the actual secret.
Yeah, Gumshoe's saying the thing. Well, did you not, like, read it a second time?
It's a really screwed up love letter.
But, Larry, you wrote it wrong. You idiot. Exactly. Yep, Larry's a fucking idiot, and this was a whole red herring.
Yup.
Great, we just spent the last 10 minutes of the game doing absolutely nothing.
I mean, in all fairness, Larry's weird ass love letter drove her to hide in her room instead of go to the temple that the temple that's on the other side of the bridge. Right now.
It's kind of developing the story, but they could have written this in a different way to actually have some more impact.
So so this is this letter caused her to go hide in her room. However, this letter that caused her to hide in the room was actually no danger to her at all.
Yeah, so they're developing the story by trying to catch Iris in a lie, but the lie was also a fake.
They're showing a timeline. No, they're showing a timeline. So the person who's lying is Bikini. Bikini claims that Iris went to the one temple, but she didn't, because she got.
She is also lying.
Letter. I was gonna say Iris didn't go to that because she got this blackmail letter that made her scared, and so she went and hid in her room. However, the blackmail letter isn't actually a blackmail letter. It's a stupid love letter. And here's the twist that's gonna happen, right? So
Bikini found the love letter first.
No. So the reason we're gonna be able to prove her innocence partly is gonna be tied to the fact that she didn't go there. So in a weird roundabout way, Larry's weird ass love letter is gonna save Iris. And then you know how at the end of every fucking trial, there's that part where like we're talking to them outside the courtroom, and there's like a thing we can show them that like helps illustrate some point.
Yeah.
It's gonna be this fucking letter. It's gonna be this letter, and then fucking they are gonna get married.
No, they're not. Larry doesn't deserve a happy ending.
I don't think that's a happy ending.
It's because Larry's dumb. That's what they were there for.
But she's a double murderer. I don't think marrying her is necessarily a happy ending.
I don't even think Larry deserves that. He deserves to be in a trash can or here for the rest of his life. Just chasing skirts and failing constantly. I don't think so. Larry's too stupid to have anything useful. Yeah, he saw the lightning. What else could he have been talking about? I saw Iris. It was crazy. She's the most beautiful lady I've ever seen.
In all fairness, we haven't talked to him really about the lightning.
Yeah, we know. I mean, that's fair. You saw aliens. Or Bigfoot.
You saw... I don't know, a hot chick.
You saw a naked woman in the winter.
That'd be fucking awful.
Well, it'd be awful for her.
I mean, yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make. It'd be awful.
Wait, we need more locks?
We got new locks now.
Really? Why does he have five fucking locks? How is Larry this tight-lipped?
Edgeworth's just like, no, I have to do this whole fucking thing again.
Edgeworth just punches him in the face and leaves. You better go find more evidence, bud. I'm gonna defeat these locks with my attorneying. He's gonna do the psycho locks at the courtroom, and it's not gonna make any fucking sense. Don't worry, the trial will rev you up a lot. You're gonna see Godot getting coffee constantly, and you're gonna be really pissed at it all the time. Why are you throwing coffee at me all the time?
Okay, I am literally falling asleep in my chair, Jeff. So we're gonna cut this episode short here. About 2 hours short.
Oh no, Iris is so shocked.
Sometimes it's 3 hours short, depending on the day, because, we very well could have if I wasn't literally falling asleep in my chair.
Well, I guess we'll have to call it there.
But yeah, we'll call it there. We'll pick her up back next weekend on Saturday, and we'll start with the first court case here, and then for whatever reason something will happen, and that will be a short episode of this game. And we'll very slowly move to this last game.
It's gonna be 4 more episodes, folks. We're gonna make it happen. But yeah, most likely Undertale on Wednesday. We're gonna start.
Looking like.
We're gonna start with Undine.
You see the message I sent you?
Yeah, you sent us. Yeah. You sent me a really long message that we're gonna have to pick. We're gonna have to pick like a middle path, but we're gonna have to. I don't know. It might just be. We might just play that one by ear if we don't have like a hard direction to go.
Yeah. What I'm tempted to do is there's some things you have to do for the true pacifist ending that isn't just not harm anything. So, in theory, if I don't tell you what those things are and you don't do them, we could get a neutral ending as our first ending. But yeah, the weird thing with this game is while there's 3 paths, there's technically like slightly different things that can happen in the endings.
There's different flavors of milquetoast ending.
Yes. Well, so the middle ending has a bunch of different things and like a bunch of different things that happen, and like, you know, essentially like, you know, it does that thing that
do you want to
I like a lot of RPGs do. It does well to explain what it is without like spoiling any of it, because I didn't actually read what the the ending's unique.
Just explain it in like mechanical terms.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So, you know how kind of at the end of some RPGs, you know, before the end credits roll or like while the end credits roll, or along that line, we essentially check in with all of our characters once again and see what they're doing in their life?
Yeah, they do like epilogues where it's like after the big god or evil spirit is defeated, they're like, they went home, and then, you know, later they either like do like speeches before they leave, or they like flash forward 6 months.
Yeah, I think all the endings have some sort of epilogue to them like that, but the neutral ending has a very varied amounts of different things that can show up in the epilogue based on who you killed and who you didn't kill. And so, like, you know, if you killed literally every boss except for Papyrus, there's like an ending for that. If you killed only Papyrus, there's an ending for that, right? So there's all these different endings for which bosses you killed on the neutral route. Now, given when I say kill the bosses, you can't kill Sans, of course, on a neutral route, because Sans isn't a boss on the neutral route. You have to do the genocide route. Which the genocide route, as I said, is one thing that's weird.
Is you have to literally kill everything.
You have to kill, well, yes, you have to kill literally everything. But the big thing with the genocide route and killing everything is that when you finish the genocide route and you see, you know, the end credits roll, your game gets stained. Like, there's a file that gets made in the game's files that said you completed a genocide run, you horrible goddamn monster.
I was the worst person.
Because of that, other things get affected. So if you do your ending of a good run, a pacifist run where I didn't harm anybody, I did the true pacifist run, right? I did all the stuff to do the true pacifist run. That ending becomes stained and apparently slightly different if you have done and completed a genocide run.
To be fair, we are on the path of a true pacifist run at this point.
Yes, we are currently on the path of a true pacifist run. All we have to do to break the easiest way to break that is to literally just attack something.
Yep.
The second we do that, we have broken the true pacifist run. But there are a couple things we have to do outside of a true pacifist run, like outside of combat. There's a couple things we have to do. For example, one of the things you have to do is you have to do the date with Papyrus. So we did that one. We did do that one, but there's a couple other things in the world that we're gonna have to do, and it wasn't 100% clear to me whether you can do it on a first playthrough. So we'll find out. If we can't do it, we'll just end up taking a neutral ending of whatever we get. Neutral ending.
We might just have to.
There is a neutral ending for did the neutral path but didn't kill anybody. Like, that is an ending in the neutral path. So we might get that one, but it's good practice at the very end because we're gonna have to fight all these goddamn bosses multiple times anyway. Now, given the genocide version of it's gonna be pretty. I mean, I went and watched the Sans fight again because I was curious about it.
So
I don't know honestly if we're gonna be able to beat the Sans fight. That shit looked so hard.
It's gonna be a thing, but hey, we're here.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Sans. I watched a damageless ending, a damageless fight of the Sans route, and it looked so goddamn hard. Now, given, and I don't know if this is what you're guaranteed to be at level wise by this point, because at this point you would have killed literally everything, or if there's
pretty high level.
Well, yeah, my point is when I watched it, the player had 92 health.
But Sans can do 23 damage.
Yeah, I have no idea how much damage Sans does because this run I watched was a damageless run. Like, they never got hit. it very well taught me movements we're probably gonna have to learn and memorize for the patterns
Yeah,
to
probably.
dodge things, because like, you know, some of them are like very fast, and so essentially like once you watch the pattern a few times, you're like, okay, it's this pattern, I need to do this very specific motion and go to this spot by doing, you know, in this shape, right? And so that's what you do. And I feel like at the end of the day, that's most of the bosses in this game. Is
Well,
you just memorize the pattern.
my ultimate question is that considering that it's gotten more complicated, do you still want to be the driver of this LP, or do you want me to jump in and try to do some research on what middle route we want to aim for? Maybe after the pacifist run is over and everything's not spoiled.
I think we do the true pacifist run, because what the true pacifist run does, which is kind of interesting, is it unlocks, once we've done it, we unlock a menu option that lets us like clear the, like reset the game, so that, because one thing I didn't know about the game, even though I should have, because I have restarted my save file on my copy of the game, and this is the thing that happens with you restarting the save file. You don't get to rename yourself.
Oh,
like,
weird.
The thing where it says, hey, what's your name, doesn't pop up. Whatever you put in the very first time is going to be your name. But I believe if you do this, once you finish the pacifist run, you get this thing that lets you, you know, essentially reset the game to the point where like the characters don't remember shit, right? They're not referencing the fact that they recall things, right? That the meta-ness of the game disappears. However, I will state that it might be in our interest, and I'll make a decision by Wednesday, it might be in our interest to fuck up our pacifist run.
Really?
And take the neutral route first, because after the end credits of the neutral route, Flowey says something that's supposed to point you in the path of the pacifist run. But like, I feel like it's lore related stuff that'll help explain stuff that will happen in the pacifist run that wouldn't have happened in the neutral route. So I feel like maybe it's worth getting the neutral ending because of that speech that Flowey gives at the end of the end credits of the neutral ending. So like, there's, you know, a million things we can do. I mean, there's a thing that we have to do for the neutral run that I don't know how missable it is. Because I don't know what the screen is like when you have to do it, but there's a thing you have to do that you know, I very well, when I read it, I'm like, well, that might be something that's very easy to accidentally not do. I don't know. It depends on how clear the game makes it. Because like the Papyrus date, right? Once you're done with the fight, Papyrus literally goes, well, let's go, I'll be here when you want to go on our date, right? So like, you know, he literally tells you that you can go do this, so you go do it. But like, there's a thing that I don't know if the game like even tells you to do it or even hints at doing it. It's just something you might just need to like intuit and then do. So when we get to that part, I'll see whether or not you do it without telling you to do it.
Well,
and as I said, it might be worth, if we do that, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to do everything else that's on the list of things we need to do for the true pacifist run. But yeah, I'll look more into it about whether or not we want to do it. I was trying not to read too much, especially the genocide route. I started reading like how things kind of are different in the genocide route, and it's significantly different than I thought it was. It's not
definitely.
Like, there's way crazier stuff that happens that I didn't know about.
It's a diversion.
It's absolutely nutty. Like the game will change on like a fundamental level. Like, it'll be way different of an experience. And so I'm really interested in seeing that. And I stopped reading some of the things because I was like, I don't want to be spoiled on like where shit's gonna go with the genocide run. But yeah, we have to do that one last, which is kind of sad because there's an element to the pacifist run that like kind of wants you to like leave the happy ending where it is and not reset the game.
Nope.
And we're gonna still have to do that because if you
the genocide route is a permanent stain on the file. We can't do anything about that.
I was gonna say, because while the pacifist run gives you that reset option gets rid of like most things, but there's like two things it doesn't get rid of, and one of the things it doesn't get rid of is the stain that gets left on the game, like in the game's files for completing a genocide route. So like, they literally refer to there's a different way they refer to the other endings that you do if you have already done a genocide route. So like, it's called a true pacifist run if it's not, you don't have that genocide run stain, but they call it a soulless pacifist run if it's
makes sense.
If you've already completed a genocide run, because the game knows you completed a genocide run, so they know your heart's not actually in it for being a pacifist. So
we got a plan in development for Undertale. I don't know how much you want to keep going, considering you're apparently dying at your office.
I mean, yeah, my eyes are closed the entire time I was talking here.
So
I haven't opened my eyes.
So, sorry about that, but, things are things. Join us on Wednesday when we're gonna... Either way, we're gonna have an interesting game for you to see.
Right.
We'll just see you next week. Thanks for joining us here on The Balancing Act for Ace Attorney Episode 6. And we are out.